What's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent. Let's talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2's open beta. So there's going to be on PC, referencing that, just so you guys know. I'm assuming if you played on PS4, you probably had a decent time. However, a lot of this stuff that I'm going to be complaining about could be considered nitpicky. But I think that if you understand that this is a game that's meant and designed entirely around PS4 players or console players, period, and console consumers, this is going to be a fun game to pick up and play and jam to, if you don't have a PC, basically. But I think the game is technically optimized, and I think the game ran good and it looked good in some ways. We got to rant on that. But all in all, this is a game that just obviously it's cut up, it's chopped up, and it could have been this huge, truly epic thing, and it's obviously not that thing. And so I can't help but compare it to what I know it could have been, which is basically what everyone said about the first one. So a whole lot of the same shit in this game, even though they changed around some things. The overall experience was neat. It was cute. Definitely not $60 cute, but I did have a sensation to play the game again and jump in again. But at the same time, when you do get into the game, you're really only going to be left wanting more, and not in a good way. It's more like as you're playing, you're wanting more, not just as you leave the game. It could have been so cool, and there are some really rare moments if you really try to play the game, and the footage should be as exemplary as it gets. I tried really hard to get some good footage for you guys. This is the best I could over the weekend, and I am an FPS player, and I do play big team battle games, so I wanted to do the best I could, but I guess that's really where we should start our first impressions. How does this feel as a shooter? Well, it feels okay. It feels neat. It feels better than Destiny, that's for sure. It definitely feels better than any peer-to-peer game, but a lot of the weapons are just super usual. Just super usual. And that's a complaint I had over Destiny as well. Like, it's like, dude, it's a sci-fi game. It's in the Star Wars universe, or in Destiny's case, it's just made up everything, right? You could come up with some really cool weapons. We could see some really cool weapons, but a lot of it is gated behind this RNG progression. You're going to hear a lot of first impressions probably immediately out of the gate talk about this, and this is going to be something that stops people from buying the game. So I guess let's cut through the bullshit, guys. That's why you watch me. Is the game pay to win? Is its progression cancer? Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people would say it is objectively pay to win. In fact, Total Biscuit, Cynical Brit, said, yeah, no, it is flat out, this is a pay to win game. What I have to counter that is that you guys, as in the console consumer markets, wink, wink, you guys, no, you guys, the average consumer, not just the people that watch me. People that watch me obviously aren't average consumers, but you guys have loved Battlefield 3 and 4, and a lot of people bought Battlefront 1, and a lot of people are playing Clash Royale and Hearthstone, and a lot of people have been playing these games that have been, slippity sloping down into the basically what we knew was coming. Real gamers and real journalists saw this coming a mile away, that we were going to consistently just steep down into pay-to-win territory. From mobile games, MMOs, especially Korean, Chinese games, and here we are in AAA Western games, that they're arena games. There is no place at all for this kind of progression, I think, just period, and then of course adding in such weight to that progression to make it feel pay to win. Now, a lot of people would say it's not pay to win because eventually you could potentially unlock everything in the game. However, the amount of grind, also remember, this is RNG progression through loot boxes, which means you can't just grind and then kit out one single class, which that's the excuse in games like League of Legends. Like, oh, yeah, unlocking all the characters, that's a lot of work. However, you can easily unlock all the characters, at least for one role, and master those characters in the time. Yeah, that's fine, sure. But in this game, it's RNG progression. You're not going to easily be able to just kit out one single character. This was my problem in Battlefield 4, which is why I stopped playing it. I really didn't play it that much because of it. And I wasn't able to progress that far in Battlefield 3. And then I just didn't buy Battlefield 1 myself. As somebody who loves big team battle, 8v8 or more. No, I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do it. So the game, it feels pretty cool, I guess. The base mechanics, it's going to look good, kind of, in some ways. It's going to feel kind of cool. It's hard to complain, especially if you realize it's meant for consoles, but let's go ahead and elaborate more on what I did play. Even though I couldn't play with a lot of weapons because of the progression, I couldn't do too much. I didn't get to play with every hero, every vehicle. It was a really limited beta. I I think there's some issues still with the feeling, with the game feel. It's really based on visuals, and this is where the PC Master Racer's coming out in me. So I know this is a console game based on the map design, based on the player limitation, based on the simplicity of the weapons. You know, like they're really fucking straightforward. Like lasers don't have any sort of intricate mechanics. There's really no special ammo system or resource system anywhere. There's really no added mechanics. It's just a really freaking simple game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it could be really fun to jump into a game like this, just run and gun. But it's like you run really slow. Maps are really small. One map was really interesting. The wooded, forested map was actually really fun. Like, I think that's a cool map. It's super small. But, I mean, it doesn't really have any special set pieces like you see all over Halo or even Call of Duty, but it was a cool map. Everything else sucked about the other maps. Oh my god, please be better. I know Battlefield, you can do some cool maps, please. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, they're 55 FOV. That's basically what I want to come at here, guys. Is the PC version was locked at a 55 locked FOV. I don't know why this was the case. I don't know why we couldn't change it. In fact, a lot of the post-processing could not be changed. I believe chromatic aberration is something that a lot of people complain about. I don't know what the frick that is, okay? You know, I mean, hey, 5 years of being a gaming journalist, I actually don't know what that is. And that's kind of a shame. That's kind of a shame. But apparently it's something that everyone's complaining about on the forums, and it's a reason why a lot of the game just looks really freaking blurry when it really shouldn't. And I know there's more post-processing stuff that is just locked in, you can't change it. But really, I want to complain about the 55 FOV. If you guys don't know, 90 FOV really should be the minimum if you're playing mouse and keyboard on a monitor. You can easily get sick, kind of like a car sickness, seasickness kind of thing. This is going to affect some ethnicities more than others, apparently. I don't know why that is, but it depends on your biology. But 90 is like the minimum for like the average person to not kind of get nauseated. And there's a whole lot of math behind that and just like how you interact with the game and, you know, how close you are to a screen. That's why it matters for PC a lot. But also just for like, you know, competitive players as well. But it's not just competitive players. Like, seriously, guys, average people can feel sick or just feel weird playing games at a 55 freaking FOV, you know, in a first-person shooter on PC. You know, you're that close to your screen. It just doesn't work. Now, on controllers, right? Controllers on a console, on your couch, the 3Cs, it works out, I guess. It works out. I don't know why, but that's fine. And especially you don't want high FOV on consoles because then it's gonna run like poo-poo. So I guess it's fine. So this is just something on PC, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing that shows that they kind of aren't respecting the PC audience. They probably know they're gonna get most of their money from the console crowd. The people who play on consoles, who enjoy console games, generally those consumers are, you know, they're not PC Master Racers. They're probably not the ones frequenting Reddit or these forums that I keep talking about and referencing myself. And they're not actually participating in gaming discussions. They're kind of just people who want to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it kind of sucks to me that they don't know what they could be having. Yeah, sure, they're having fun. It's nice, but they're also spending $60 or more. You know, the monetization being what it is. And they're just dropping bills, man. They're dropping bills and they're having an okay time, but they don't realize how much they're getting cucked. It's pretty tragic. Anyways, but hey, us that watch YouTube channels like this and, you know, participate in the forums and conversations, we are seeing how bad monetization or how cut games are turning out. I mean, if they're not being released in a incomplete state, we can see that what they have released as, they've been very specifically tailored to just be missing content and just completely focused on, honestly, things that sell to just normies. So, and that's tragic because now normies are expecting, you know, loot boxes and pay-to-win mechanics as the norm, and there's like no way to reach them. We could do as many videos as we want. Well, I mean, maybe if we do enough, people are going to start realizing, but when a game is meant for the console crowd, it's going to be designed for the console crowd, and there's like nothing I can do to say to like stop. Just getting a little bit choked up, but anyways, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Well, how do I know what this game is missing? You know, Sky, how can you say that? How can you be so brave to say you know exactly what this game is missing? But that's because this game, this actual series here, Battlefront and Battlefront 2, is actually entirely a successor. There is a Battlefront 1 already. There was a Battlefront 2, which actually just got a big update. Lots of new maps and all sorts of new things. You guys should maybe go check that out a little bit. But those games had so much stuff. I don't know if you played them, but just go play like the sniper characters. There's a couple of different, there are actually a lot of different classes, and they all play radically different. So weird. There's a lot of really fun vehicles, and I'm not saying like those games are just completely superior. Obviously, graphically, maybe not so much. Physically, the engine, you know, stuff like that. But they had a lot of players, they had a lot of content, they had a lot of good stuff going for it, and it was just fun. It was really, really fun. So looking back at those games, you can clearly see what Battlefront 2 does not have. And this is the successor to the new Battlefront, which was already really kind of trimmed down, slimmed down, and very arcadeized. It was, you know, hey, this is a PS4 game, guys. You know, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there is anything wrong with that, because my first big team battle experience was Halo 8v8, and then also I got Battlefield 2 on Xbox, the original Xbox, and then I played like Far Cry and stuff like that. So my original big team battle experience was on consoles. However, even saying that, guys, I still think that, you know, with all this game's trimmings and the update to the engine, like, holy shit, dude, Frostbite engine is amazing, sure. But the reason why I'm kind of talking around the gameplay is because, honestly, dude, there's so many other games, much older games, that just do it fucking better. You know, go pick, okay, you can't really do this, but if you could, go back and play Halo 2 Big Team Battle. The map design, the vehicles that you can jump into, have a Warthog, and then you have like a Banshee flying in the air, and then you have somebody with the freaking rockets, and then somebody with an energy sword cutting you out from the freaking Warthog side seat. So there's so many ridiculous situations that you can have that creates those, I guess what Battlefield likes to call battlefield moments, where you have all this mixed combat, and you have all these different scenarios that sometimes overlap with each other, and it creates these really epic, like, just experiences, man. Battlefield experiences, which you kind of only get with big team battle games. You know, 8v8 or higher with mixed combat. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 should have those experiences, but for the gameplay that you're watching, I had to really, really try to get good, presentable stuffs. But I wouldn't say that any of these are really battlefield moments. I really can't do much. You know, when you fly into a battlefield, can you even call it a battlefield? Like, you spawn inside the air, and then the controls are super wonky, awkward. War Thunder does it better. I mean, I guess the map design is way more open. It's just way more accessible to that. Or just the intricacies of Battlefield's flying is just better because it's more intricate, even if it is harder. Still, the way that the entire map design, the game design period, which is why I'm kind of not talking about it specifically, in my opinion, is just kind of bad. It's just really shallow. Like, it does kind of look cool, you know, on the surface, and console people are going to be like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. It sure does. And, you know, I can't contest that. But just know the real meat of the game, the gameplay that you're actually playing, is only just presentable. It is presented in a nice way, but the actual meat, you know, the replay value is just not there, which is why they have to have RNG progression, and they have to have all these weird added mechanics that don't really do anything to gameplay. So in maps where they do have the mixed combat with flying, it just doesn't really feel like it does anything. However, I will say, the map where you actually push like the giant, like freaking siege engine, it is really cool that you can choose to jump in the driver, well, not the driver's seat, but you can jump into a couple gunner seats and actually shoot. That kind of reminds me of Blacklight Retribution siege mode, which is pretty neat. You can also jump into kind of like this AI-controlled airplane and then attack the siege weapon. So it's kind of like a kill streak, which is really cool. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. If you can't have true, like, absolute epic big team battle, like, you know, 40 versus 40 players or some bullshit, then you gotta, you know, kill streaks and things like that. Call of Duty did it. It was a good idea, and I don't think it's a bad idea. But then when you try to give the illusion of true mixed combat, sure, on-rails stuff is kind of cool, right? But then when you give us a full flight experience, but it not really. We move so fast, the controls are so awkward, you know, on PC at least, and you're trying to dogfight in this like super constrained airspace, and dear God, you are not doing anything on the ground. Not like at Battlefield, where you know, you win your dogfight, and then after that you go kill a tank or two, or you know, you do a run and gun, and maybe you can kill some infantry or something like that. You can do some cool stuff in Battlefield because the map size presents itself like that. But this game is super small, constrained. You know, for a big team battle game, Halo is literally an arena shooter, and its maps were so intricately designed, and its vehicles, you know, were appropriately balanced around that its big team battle felt so good, so epic. Even back in Halo 1, when we had LAN party, I don't know if you guys did that, but, you know, everyone bringing their TVs together in the neighborhood or whatever, and their Xboxes, dude, oh my God, my TV was heavy. And we would just all like be on the carpet eating Doritos or freaking Tostino nachos and pizza rolls and Jesus. Anyways, those were good times, absolutely. And it's not just nostalgia, guys. I still, you know, I even though I don't agree with business practices, I still jump into Battlefield 4, you know, stuff like that. I still enjoy big team battle. I still cover MMOs, and I love doing the battlegrounds of MMOs. I love playing Guild Wars PvP, stuff like that. Yeah, no, that stuff is cool, guys. I enjoy it, but you don't get the same sensation in MMOs that you do in shooters, because you have vehicles that are flying, that are, you know, you have bikes, and then you have tanks, and like freaking warthogs, you know, stuff like that. In Star Wars, you have so many different weird stuff, but in the end, it just all is like, this vehicle is very similar to that vehicle, slightly different. The on-rail stuff is unique, that's special, kind of like that. But like all the guns are just kind of slightly different, but they totally don't have any special mechanics. There's not any special spread, special resource management. It's all like, this is a laser that shoots at this speed, this is a laser that shoots at this speed, and this is a laser. Yeah, one guy has a flamethrower, I guess. You know, there's so much that could have happened, and we've seen other games do it in the genre. We've seen other games, not even technically in the same genre, do it better. We've seen literal games with the exact same name, Battlefront and Battlefront 2, that did it better, just factually. Now, is it gift wrapped as nicely in the Frostbite engine? No, it's not. But at the same time, you know, the Frostbite engine, is there destructibility in this game? Do you have that? No, I didn't see that at all. Do you really have the Star Wars charm with droids? Yeah, the droids were actually charming as hell. Roger, Roger. I like that shit. I enjoyed it a lot. But everything else, man, I really don't know. Was it worth talking about it for 17 minutes? Probably not. All I can say is progression cancer, and the game itself is just shallow. Not much there. You can have fun, sure, on PS4. But I'm gonna be honest, if you really respect yourself and your dollar and your time, you should maybe just look into something else. Like basically anything else. I know it's the newest big team battle game. It's the newest Star Wars game. I mean, maybe, I don't know what your options are when it comes to those two things combined, but actually, I would maybe suggest you check out Battlefront 2, the original. Well, the original sequel, yeah. Some people are jumping back into it. I think it might be a good time to do so. Or I don't know, maybe jump into Battlefield 4, or I guess you want sci-fi, so 2142 is a little bit old by now. Planetside 2, maybe a little bit, actually. Actually, yeah, Planetside 2, maybe go check that game out. It's a FPS MMO. But in the end, this is a game that's fun to rent, most likely. This is a rent. This is 100% not a buy. This is not a purchase. If you're going to be spending way too much time, way too much money to really be playing this game, you're not really going to be playing it. And then if you do actually play the game, well, I think you're going to run through any true content basically in a weekend. So I played the beta, and yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to play more, but at the same time, I know when the game comes out, there's not actually really going to be more to the game. Just going to be kind of recycled stuff that's kind of just cut up dreams of what it could have been. That's all I got to say, guys. Sorry if I talked around a lot of topics you wanted to talk about, but hey, if you want to shout something out, leave it in the comments below. I honestly think that you guys are going to echo a lot of my opinions, so let's try not to echo too much, but hey, if you feel strongly about something, shout it out. Who cares? Let's go. Thanks, guys, for watching. Much love. I don't know. Maybe when the game comes out, it'll completely surprise us. But then again, like, this whole experience was entirely unsurprising. Tragic, I know. Anyways, keep the hype alive, guys, and I'll see you again next time.